what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Footcandle Films. Film news and reviews from two guys who really like movies.
This episode is brought to you by the Footcandle Film Society. For a schedule of upcoming screenings and membership information, visit the Society's website at www.footcandle.org.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Footcandle Films here on the Mesh.tv podcast network. My name is Alan Jackson, and with me, sitting across from the podcast table here, is Chris Fry, and we are both with the Footcandle Film Society, the annual Footcandle Film Festival, here with the Footcandle Films podcast. Chris, as always, I ask, how are you doing? How was your weekend?
My weekend took a dramatic upturn last night at about maybe 6 or 7 o'clock. It's March. Yes. March Madness. Unfortunately, a team that I pull for did not get past the first round, and now we're replacing our head coach, which that's a whole nother discussion I will not get into.
Whole other discussion.
UNC Tar Heels, you are also a fan of this team.
But let's move on, put it lightly.
Let's move on to happier news. Yesterday, I got to witness the last 10 minutes of a certain UConn-Duke game, and I was so happy that I decided to tune in because it was close. Duke, of course, was on top. They were, ahead. But I was like, it's within 10. Sure. Man. March Madness, where I know this is a movie podcast, but there are some probably crossover basketball fans. This is why March Madness is called that, because of games like that. And oh man,
so I got to tell you, I was in a similar situation that I was out here working at the theater, driving on my way home, and as I pulled into my driveway, I'm like, I pulled up the score on this said game. I'm like, it's actually getting kind of close. I guess I should watch the last 10 minutes of this game as well.
Yes, you should.
I think there was an overall, there's somehow an aura pushed out in the world to Carolina fans saying, you need to watch the last 10 minutes of this game. I think it just somehow we all got that vibe.
Immediately after that game was over.
We all got that vibe of, we should probably turn on the TV right now. It's like, oh, yeah. So I think the call went out. We all responded. And yes, it was a great ending to a game. It was a fun ending to watch.
Also, just so dramatically, in this day and age of streaming and all this kind of stuff, or not streaming, but, you can watch things whenever or whatever. People sometimes don't even watch sporting events live, but this was so live. They interviewed the fellow, which I've forgotten his name. Sorry. Yeah. Immediately after the game was over, he made the game-winning shot from UConn. He's a freshman. And he was obviously excited and nervous, but he let fly a profanity live on air. And Brenda was like, my wife was like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's live TV. I mean, it's not a huge bad one, but he was just talking. She was like, well, how did you feel when the shot went? He's like, I'll be honest. I'm just glad that expletive when it was like,
but Chris, is it really even really profanity anymore? I mean, when our freaking president and news uses these words all the time and whatever, it's I don't care. College basketball guy who just won a winning shot.
And you could tell it wasn't forethought. He was just just being very honest. I'm just happy it went in.
Just secured his big man on campus status for the entire rest of his career. He's a freshman too.
Right.
So anyway, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Basketball. It was fun. Sorry. But we did have some movies to watch as well.
We did.
So the question for me is going to be, did we have as much fun watching the movie and reviewing the one we're going to review or not? And that question is, or that movie in question is the film Mike and Nick and Alice on Hulu, a Hulu original or distributed film starring a Mr. Vince Vaughn, James Marsden, and Elza Gonzalez. So we're going to be reviewing that film here in just a moment. After we do that review of that film, we'll also be playing some trailers of some upcoming films. We've got 3 picked out that we're curious about, and we're going to explore and watch and then do a little dissection of afterwards. And then, as always, at the end of the show, Chris will share with us, I shouldn't say as always, because there have been a few episodes where you did not do
let the listeners down sometimes.
But I think I think we're in the 95% certainty range that Chris will provide a recommendation. And this episode is no exception to that. Chris will be giving us a recommendation of a film that he thinks is worth our time to check out. So, Chris, that is our plan. basketball talk is done. We're moving on to movies, but let's see if we can make this just as entertaining with our review of Mike and Nick and Alice.
Open the glove compartment. What's this?
It's chloroform.
Chlor what?
You don't know what chloroform is?
Should I know what chloroform is?
Have you ever seen a movie?
Yeah, I've seen many movies.
And have you ever seen a movie with chloroform in it?
I don't know.
Okay, just listen to me. You're gonna ring the doorbell. Somebody's gonna answer the door. Before they can get out a single word, you take that rag that's soaked in that shit and you cover their nose and their mouth.
Oh, that's chloroform. That's chloroform? You could have just said the wet rag thing. It made it easier.
Fine, great. Do what you call the wet rag thing.
Hey, Mike.
This is confusing.
Writer-director Ben David Grabinski's first film, Happily, a dark romantic comedy starring Joel McHale, was set to premiere at the 2020 Tribeca Film Festival. But, 2020. It finally came out in 2021 in select theaters with a simultaneous VOD and digital release. I had not heard of this film. Then he comes out with his second feature, Mike and Nick and Alice, starring Vince Vaughn, James Marsden. It's a time-traveling gangster comedy. And just the director's name, Ben David Grabinski, I was like, okay, who is this dude? So that's how I discovered that he'd had a previous film. This film has time travel. It has Vince Vaughn playing a dual role. It's kind of a, like I said, time-traveling gangster comedy with a little bit of romance going on. It's a lot of stuff. Alan, what was your experience with Mike and Nick and Alice?
Well, first off, let me, I think this is just interesting. IMDb is a resource I use to, as I'm sure you do too, to kind of look and catalog the films and look up all the information we need to find out about the film and its production status and cast and everything else. And it always provides a little synopsis of the film, which I think this is probably the most generic and unrevealing synopsis I've ever seen for a movie like this. The synopsis, according to IMDb, is two friends navigate the dangerous world of organized crime, testing their loyalty and survival skills as they get deeper into the criminal underworld. Wow.
It's a disservice.
It is, because that's film. Sure, yes, there are two, quote, friends, and yes, they are in the criminal underworld, but that's about the only thing out of that statement that tells you anything of interest. This is a, we played the trailer, so it's okay to kind of give a little bit of premise. It is
during a previous episode.
Science fiction based crime comedy thriller action movie with time travel involved. So just go lay that out there. Vince Vaughn does some time traveling, so we got double the Vince Vaughns in this movie.
Right. So if you're not a Vince Vaughn fan,
that's a red flag right there.
Yeah,
red flag. Here's the thing, Chris. When movies are when an idea for a film comes about, my understanding, the way it works in the industry, is you kind of have a pitch. I have an idea. I have a concept of a film. So you pitch the film. And you pitch it on that idea. Okay. If people like the idea, then they move to make it a script where you actually write out what the film does.
Sure.
And who says what and how the film flows as a story. Then it goes to production, and then it goes to editing, and then you've got a finished movie. I think the pitch on this film is probably one of the best and greatest pitches it had to have been on this film, because I loved the concept of this film.
Okay.
And again, I'm just going to kind of boil it down to, summarize it without spoiling anything. But
absolutely.
Yes, you have a criminal, a organized crime boss guy played by Vince Vaughn, who plays Nick, and you find out that he has employed time travel to come back and utilize his past self to help a friend that was wrongfully accused of something. So it embroils these two other individuals, James Marsden playing Quick Draw Mike and Elsa Gonzalez as Alice, bringing them into the fold as well. And you find out a lot about the relationships between these 3/4 characters. There's some really clever things using the concept of time travel, that older self and younger self get to kind of swap notes. There's a little bit of character development with that individual. It's like you find out some relationships exist between the four that are coming to light. It's just the pitch and the concept are amazing. Then when it gets the script and the production, I feel like it kind of lost a lot of that edge and uniqueness that it could have had. So where I'm coming down on this film, Chris, is I think this is a really, really great concept of a film. And I do generally like the performances that we've got in the film. But I think it's a very clumsily put together film that unfortunately to me loses sight of what would make this film really unique. It remembers it at moments. There are some moments, and I'll call them out, that I think are really good and clever. But they're also stitched together with some really weird shift in tones and some use of humor that's way out of place from the rest of the film. And I think it's jarring, and I think the film is it seems very clumsily put together, and it seems to be relying more on, well, we have a great premise, so that's all we need to make this film work. And we got Vince Vaughn doing his Vince Vaughn thing with his dialogue. So that's all we need. But let's just roll the cameras and we should have it. And it ultimately, I'm giving this film a pass and saying that I enjoyed the elements of this film I really enjoyed, and I enjoyed it for the core premise that's there. But I do feel like from a quality and production standpoint, it missed a lot of marks. Okay. And it kind of left me wanting in many, many areas. So that being said, Chris, I want to hear your thoughts on Mike and Nick and Alice.
So a great opening of a film combined with a great closing can really make a film for me, regardless of what might be sandwiched in between. Now, what is sandwiched in between could make it the 5-star as opposed to a 3-star. Okay. Does that make sense?
Sure.
And, stuff sandwiched in between, like that can affect, jokes that don't, in this instance, jokes that don't land, plot threads that are left to swing in the wind. That said, the opening musical performance by Ben Schwartz, it was a song I recognized. I mentioned actually in our previous review, Project Hail Mary. I didn't recognize the song, so it didn't hit it quite as hard for me, and I was distracted. From the opening notes of that song, done for comedic effect, a Disney tune, yet in his performance of it, he throws profanity in, which is funny. I was like, okay, I am on the wavelength with this film. Now, during the rest of the runtime, I kind of fell in and out, thought some things were kind of clumsily handled, but the closing minutes of the film, a melancholic performance of an Oasis tune that hit right because of what all was coming. And you kind of saw some of the threads that you thought were a little wonky kind of being pulled tight and coming together. You're like, okay.
Completely agree. I like the ending.
And so it's like,
So,
I think I mentioned this is his second film. He does write and direct his material. He did the same thing with the first film, Happily, which I actually went back and watched after watching this film because I was kind of curious.
Okay.
I am really curious. I like this film, okay, but I like you had some misgivings about how some things were handled. I am really curious to see what he does next because I think his first film hampered by not really getting great distribution. 2020 happened, this film's happened. It went straight to streaming. I feel like it could have had a somewhat audience in the main theater because it is action comedy. So I'm really curious as he continues to hone his skills and stuff, maybe tighten on the writing a little bit, tighten on the directing some.
I think
what could come about.
I think that's I think you hit it right on the head. I think he wrote, directed, and I'm assuming the original story concept was obviously his too. So I would think.
So, I would imagine.
So it's a one-man show kind of doing this, which
seems to be.
I don't think directing's his strong suit, at least from seeing this.
Okay.
I think the writing is there. And again, there are some scenes and moments. You mentioned the closing, which I thought in hindsight, the more I think about it, I'm like, wow, that was a really good ending. But it was an ending that did not match for me, 90% of the rest of the movie. So in other words, what you wanted that ending to have, the impact you wanted to have, I don't think it earned it based on the rest of the film I saw, but it was a great ending. So that's an example of you've got a great concept, and I just don't know if you're able to translate it to screen from a storytelling standpoint quite as effectively.
Well, I think what is interesting to me, having, I mentioned I've seen both his feature films. I think I've never heard any interviews with this fellow. He's new to me, but he doesn't seem to be concerned about trying to go highbrow, even though his concepts happily is a pretty high concept. This is kind of, in a way, a high concept because you have to keep track of time travel and make certain things kind of tie together. But he doesn't seem overly concerned about making it like a Nolan time travel film or something.
Right.
He's totally in the comedy realm. That seems to be where he's firmly rooted.
Yeah.
And doesn't care, kind of in the style of Will Ferrell and Adam McKay, as far as if things really land or not. It's like, nope, I'm just going to keep throwing stuff at the screen.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't stick, hey, I don't care. I'm going to make you laugh. Kind of like the Naked Gun mentality in a way.
Yeah.
For instance, I'll say 2 things that didn't work for me because, I've been giving it praise. Let me kind of throw some specifics. There's a cat in the film. And the cat is given the name, I won't spoil it for those people. Okay, but it's given a name, which I'm assuming the entire reason the cat's in the film is because of the name they give the cat. Okay, because it references something that's self-referential for like geek comic book people.
Right.
I recognize the reference, but other than that, I was like, I want this to mean something more. But no, I don't really think it did. And I guess, fine. So that was a joke that did not work for me, whereas like the opening musical thing did. Something else that is a complete stylistic thing, I think, for Mr. Grabinski, that I was like, I don't get it. There was a slow motion blurring during some action scenes.
Oh, not during just action scenes, Chris. It was throughout the entire movie. Let me go ahead. Yeah.
But but specifically during the action scenes, I was like, okay, are you trying to make people recall things like The Matrix and kind of like goof on that? Or like, it distracted me because I was like, I don't get the purpose.
There was a use of a very old stylistic style slow motion, kind of a stuttering slow motion that I just, after the first few instances of seeing, I'm like, I don't know what the point of this is.
It wasn't just me.
No, it was not just you. That was an example. Yes, that's on a very technical level, something I just did not get, didn't understand. If there was a rationale for using it, it didn't translate to the audience, so I didn't get it.
Right.
I think, like you said, there's elements that just don't work. There's a character, a quote father-son relationship between Keith David as Sosa and Jimmy Tatro as Jimmy Boy. That to me, so much of the movie was spent on their relationship, which I'm okay with. But it didn't make sense why we were doing and spending this time. And their dialogue was so completely hit or miss. Like it was like, there were some lines of dialogue. I don't think there's one scene, I'll just say, talking about a trash can baby that I thought was hilarious.
Right.
Okay. That worked.
Right.
But then there were like all these other scenes, like dialogue between them. I'm like, nothing about this is hitting. Nothing is working. I don't get this. Why are we spending what seems like probably 10, 15% of the movie with their relationship?
Sure.
And then, Chris, here's where the whole tone issue for this film really hurts for me.
Okay.
I will just say that there is, involving those two characters, there is a death late in the film involving one of those two characters. And it's played for laughs, even though over the course of the movie, we've actually kind of seen that these two have a really good relationship. I mean, it's a father-son relationship. And it's like, yeah, you may find the characters despicable for like what they do for a living, but yet their relationship's there. So then it's like, you want it to play for kind of jokey funny when there's a death involved, but yet it's actually at that point, and that happens several times during the movie where it's like
tone management.
Yeah. There's that the father-son that involves a death that's kind of played for jokes when the film has not really built us up to want to necessarily see that happen between this relationship. And then The aforementioned singer in the opening credits that we like that sequence so much.
Oh man.
And that character has an important role in the film, although he's in the film very, very little, mostly in flashbacks.
He's the scientist that makes the time machine
travel
happen. Yeah.
But he's also a really, really good close friend of Alice in the character. And we find out that something has transpired with him.
Right.
And again, that's also played for laughs. And it's like, oh, but no. It's like I actually kind of get a little insulted when a film wants you to care about its characters.
Okay.
Because it wants to earn this ending it's going to go to, which is a very emotional ending.
Yeah.
But yet I'm going to play so callous during the movie about friends dying, about father's sons dying. It's like, if you want to go that tone and you want us to laugh and kind of shrug off when characters that people have strong relationships with are dying,
sure,
then make the film totally be a zany comedy where we don't build the relationships. But you obviously are intent on building these relationships, because there's actually one really good scene in the middle of the movie where the four characters are sitting around and talking about what's happening and the fact that something is going to happen to one of these characters if they don't change the future, and find out that there's a I'll just say a child will be involved. And I'm like, oh, this is getting, stakes are getting heavy. This is getting emotional. I like this. This is okay. This is good if they're going to keep this kind of tone. But then it's like, no, we just kind of forgot all about that. Let's go back to zany one-liners and just try to be funny all the time. And people are dying and it becomes kind of callous. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, it's the tone management bugged me in this film. And that's just, I think you could have picked a route. If you wanted to go straight comedy on this, there's absolutely ways to do it. And there were moments that were rooted in really good comedy. If you want to make something that earns that ending we see at the end, which is where endings are, by the way, it's at the end. If you want to
wait, are beginnings at the beginning of the movie?
Yes, I know.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Got you.
If you want to earn that ending, give us a film that earns that ending by the end. And there was more emotion showed for the character in that ending at the Oasis song than there was for aforementioned character from the opening credits, who supposedly is a good friend, a good person that somebody had strong feelings for.
Simon with a Y.
Right. And it's like, but yet, anyway, management of tone, I think, was really difficult in this film. So I just laid out everything I found wrong with the film, but I will also say I still ultimately had a decent enough time with it. And I think the moments that worked really, really, really worked. So anyway.
So it's interesting. I have same misgivings that you do. But as you're describing it and I'm sitting here thinking about it, I guess maybe it could be a little bit of, I want to disagree with what you're saying because it makes for a better podcast.
Sure.
But actually listening to you describe that stuff, I'm like, yep, that's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. But I'm going to give Ben David, which is crazy. It's like a combined first name, Ben David Grabinski. It's not his middle name.
It's also like Mark Wayne Mullen. So,
okay, there you go.
Maybe that's a thing now.
Maybe
it's like combining
Ben
two
David.
first names into a new first name. Yeah.
But I think he is interested in, kind of like back in the old days, Tarantino was interested in taking a genre and totally making it his own. Like he did that with Kill Bill, like Resurrection. That's kind of like been his thing, He did it with The Hateful Eight. He's not alone in that, but he was the first thing that came to mind. Like going in, I'm going to make this my own. I don't care if people don't like it. I don't care if it doesn't work for anybody. I'm a movie nerd. It works for me. Ben David, it's like, yeah, the tone and some of the things that you and I are having problems with, it's like, no, but this is how I make a movie. And actually, even though I totally understand and get what you're saying and I agree with it, but now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, even the handling of relationships, that the father-son, or the fact that a young child could be brought, a baby or whatever, but he's like, yeah, I know. And I'm just going to flip that on you. I'm going to turn that on because I'm all about taking the house of cards and throwing it up in the air and creating chaos, kind of like an agent of chaos. And I think I'm like, okay, I admire you for just upending everything. Now, ultimately though, could it have been a better film if maybe you reined some of that chaos in? But I hear what you're saying though. Yeah. I totally hear what you're saying.
And it may be a little more of a me thing than it is the general public thing, just as far as the tone. I mean, again, I'm watching this with my wife, and after she kind of looked at me, she's like, "Oh, that was really fun." I'm like, "Yeah, I'd say it was fun, but I just can't walk away saying I enjoyed it all. I enjoyed the moments that worked. I thoroughly enjoyed the premise and the concept. And
Gotcha.
Again, I guess that's more my thing, is that you've got this gem of an idea that I think just works so well as a film. And I guess I'm a little more disappointed that they didn't find the best way to capitalize on that really, really exciting premise
Sure.
as much as it could have. And it was because of the mismanagement of the tone, I think, personally. But man, it was so close. There were
True.
there's a dialogue scene in an elevator, like when you're starting to kind of understand the relationships between these four characters. That's really fun and good. And then again, there's another dialogue scene with the four of them, and kind of their the place has got a nickname that I can't say on the podcast, but it's one of the characters' little secret hideaway
Yes.
place. And it's the four of them kind of realizing the stakes of what's going on around
It's
them.
just all centered around, which I think, okay, this is a perfect example. I never watched the Gilmore Girls.
Oh, right.
I am aware
Yeah.
of that series.
Yeah.
Okay. There is a pivotal scene centered around, and a joke
Oh, yeah.
centered around Gilmore Girls. Even though I didn't watch the show, the writing's good enough, the
Yes.
acting's good enough in the scene.
Yes.
I'm like, I get it.
Right.
I know
That
stereotypical
worked.
things
Yeah.
that happen in TV series, and that really worked.
No,
You know?
that's a scene I thought worked extremely well. And then I think you've got the ending that I think is really good. But unfortunately, everything in between those great dialogue moments and great scenes, opening those couple really key dialogue, four character dialogue scenes, and then the closing, everything in the middle was just kind of I don't know if I'm enjoying this movie in between those spots as much as I should. So
I'll say something that makes me, and you mentioned one thing that was kind of like, well, maybe it's a me thing and not an audience thing. Excuse me. The violence in the film, maybe it's just because I'm getting older and think, but violence in film, it's not that I have a problem with it, but I think specifically when violence is mixed with comedy, I get a little turned off. And there was just really over the top gunplay done as if like, hey, isn't this cool? And just like there's a shot where somebody gets his head blown through, and like you see a hole through it, and you're like, okay, it just was.
Well, it's
was a
tone
little bit
again.
too much.
I mean,
It
it's
is,
just that mismanagement of that tone. I think I agree with you. I'm not a prude when it comes to either the violence or language at all. But I feel like when it's used so blatantly, without much regard to the rest of the film it's trying to be a part of, I think it's just too much. Like there is a scene where the two Nicks have to go in and kind of basically take care of an entire house full of people. And it's like, yeah, I think even like part of the song that starts to play, either that scene or when the assassin that's hired, I don't remember his name.
Oh,
The
it's not the butcher. Something.
no, something similar
The Baron.
like that. The Baron.
Yeah.
During one of those moments, I think the song that plays in The Matrix before Neo and Trinity go on their little shooting spree inside, I think the same music
I think you might
keys
be
in.
right.
So I think they're trying to play off of that. But it just where at least in like if you're doing The Matrix, it's all played serious. Here,
Serious action
we're seeing
comedy
them
this
plow
time.
down some characters that we've seen be funny earlier in the film, and it's like, oh, well, that's not as much fun anymore. So it's like, this is not cool. It's just more jarring than anything. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't. Again, it's just the tone, and I'm with you that it could be the director's like, nope, this is what I want to do.
This is what I
cool.
do.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's why we have art. Is you can make it the way you want to.
Right.
I'm just saying, from an audience standpoint, it's tough to really enjoy a film if you can't find the tone that's working.
Right.
When there are tones in the film that do work so well, you're like, yes, stay with that. Keep going. Keep doing this. And then instead, no, we're going to go this other direction. And it's it's a little disappointing. So
How about kind of closing out, but I don't
Yeah.
want to leave the discussion. I mentioned, we mentioned the main people that are in the film. I mentioned kind of Ben Schwartz. He's in it a little bit, he has that singing musical moment at the beginning. But how about my boy, Stephen Root? How about Stephen Root?
right, yes, no, that was great.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he appeared on the
"It's great."
screen. It's like, okay, that's good. And I liked not only his character, the introduction of his character, but I liked a little bit of a reveal about his character.
Yes.
We get to just everything about it was great.
No, it was good. There again, the writing really, really strong. Yeah.
It did. And that was another one of those moments. I'm like, all right, if this is the tone we're doing for the whole movie, if this was it, if this is this kind of style, I'm like, I'm on board. It's just, but it wasn't, unfortunately. So, yeah.
Sure.
All right. Mike and Nick and Alice. Yeah, I'm going to come out on the passing side of this saying,
Okay.
yes, I think there's something to see here that is worth watching, but with a lot of caveats and just saying, you watch it in my mind, you watch it for the premise, you
Sure.
watch it for the concept, and you watch it for, I think, a few really good scenes that kind of make the story happen. But everything else is, I don't know, disappointing. You kind of feel that way?
Yeah. I think I may, upon a little bit more reflection,
Yeah.
I think I may like it a little bit better. But yeah, I think we're basically on the same page. Are you interested in seeing what Grabinski does next?
I mean, sure.
I was like,
I mean, like, not out of my way. I'm interested in seeing what he writes next.
okay, got you.
All right. I mean, that's if I hear that he has written a script for a film, I'm like, all right, yeah, I want to see what's done. Don't know if I'm quite eager to see him direct another film, but we'll see. Maybe so.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, Chris, let us take a quick little break. We come back. We've got 3 trailers to play of upcoming films, and we're also going to have Chris's recommendations. So stay tuned. You're listening to Foot Candle Films. We'll be right back in a moment.
Carolina Barbecue Festival's 5th anniversary is almost here. Get your tickets today for the Queen City's biggest barbecue party, April 17th and 18th, Victoria Yards in Uptown Charlotte. 30 pitmasters are celebrating Carolina barbecue traditions, supporting Operation Barbecue Relief, and serving you the very best barbecue. The fun starts Friday night with the kickoff and a salute to all things Charlotte barbecue. Then we all get together for Barbecue Saturday and tasting plates from 25 pitmaster stations. Tickets are going fast, especially VIP early entry. Get yours today, CarolinaBBQFest.org. Then join us April 17th and 18th for the Carolina Barbecue Festival.
Welcome back to Foot Candle Films here on the Mesh.tv podcast network. We had our review of Mike and Nick and Alice in the first part of the show. And now we are moving on to some trailers. This is our trailer tapas section where we like to kind of give little morsels of upcoming movie trailers. We do play the trailers here, which I know on an audio podcast may not be the ideal way to enjoy these trailers. We're not playing them for you guys to necessarily appreciate them. We encourage you to go online if they sound interesting and go watch them yourself. This is just for us we're going to watch them here and then we're going to kind of talk about our takes on them.
And oftentimes, at least it is the case today, I have not seen these trailers.
Okay.
So this will be my introduction to them.
I've
Sometimes you've seen them,
seen-
sometimes you haven't.
Yeah, I've seen 2 of them,
Okay.
but I still like watching them with you and getting your reaction on stuff. So let's talk about the first one I had to pull up here. This is one that I can't remember if we mentioned this in a previous. I really can't remember if we talked about this in a previous episode, this film or not. And we're also may not be able to talk about it here for a minute. We may have to pause the recording. Internet is not working.
Oh,
So I
Ouch.
can't play the trailer.
that would,
I just got a notification on my phone a second ago that says that
I tell
our
you.
Simply Safe network system has lost its connection. There's a Spectrum truck across the street when I walked in, so that's got me a little concerned.
Nice. Okay.
And I got an email last week from Spectrum saying that they were going to be upgrading our network, which I like that, but it didn't tell me exactly when that would happen and said that it would be some
workday?
time.
I mean, I guess
If they're doing it right
at
now, that
night.
is stupid. Like Monday, it's Monday at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, why in the world, if you're going to do it?
Late at night. That's the time.
So yeah, I've got nothing coming up.
Can you make your phone a hotspot?
Yeah,
Okay.
I just have to do that.
Yeah, that's irritating. I mean, you can't do it. There's never a great time to do it, but later, like after like 11 o'clock at night or after midnight, I would think would be the time to
Well,
do
again, and I don't know for sure if that's what the issue is. I just know we've consistently had issues.
Oh,
and
same.
the fact that I
Everyone else.
just got an email a couple of days ago about an upgrade and there being downtime, and I see a Spectrum truck across the street, it's got me thinking, surely they didn't decide to do the upgrade
Yeah.
right now on a Monday morning.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I got a connection here, so we'll keep
Okay.
going. All right. So we just need to edit that all out.
Sure. Sorry, Moose.
Yep. Sorry. All right. Here we go. Starting back. I'm just going to intro back this first trailer.
Okay.
Okay. Here we go. So the first trailer we're going to play is one that I can't remember if we talked about previously on the show. It's like mentioning one that would be coming out later in the year, maybe in our anticipated films of the year. If nothing else, I know it probably would have been on a list of mine if I had put together a anticipated film of the year.
Okay.
This is one that, let me see if I can get the details on the film before we play the trailer. The film is titled The End of Oak Street. It is starring Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor, two actors I generally like seeing on film. And it is written and directed by David Robert Mitchell, produced by J.J. Abrams. All right. So, David Michael Mitchell, I think he did It Follows. Is
He
that
did.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
What did he do after It Follows?
Under the Silver Lake.
That was with Andrew Garfield.
Yes.
And that was it? Is that the only two
I
we know
believe so.
of? Okay.
Yeah, I believe this. Yeah.
All right. So this is and produced by J.J. Abrams, which is interesting. But I think once you hear the concept of the film, you kind of start to see why. Our house, our neighborhood, our whole street has moved is kind of a quote from the film. A mysterious cosmic event rips Oak Street from suburbia and transports their neighborhood to someplace unknown. The Platt family soon discovers that their very survival depends on them sticking together as they navigate their now unrecognizable surroundings. High concept, sci-fi elements to it. That's the J.J. Abrams, you can see.
Sure.
But it being David Michael Mitchell and the work he did on the really good film It Follows does make you wonder what kind of tone and vibe this film's going to take. So with that, why don't we check out the teaser trailer for The End of Oak Street? And this is a teaser trailer, so Chris, we are not spoiling the film to its
Yay.
full extent. This is not a full trailer. I've seen this. I can vouch for it.
Okay.
It gives you just enough to make it interesting. So here we go. Let's check this out.
Mom? What's happening to us?
All right. That is the trailer for The End of Oak Street, coming August 14th to movie theaters everywhere. Chris, was that just enough of a teaser trailer for you? Are you good? Do you not need to see anything else for this film? Or where do you stand on what you saw?
It was on my list of top 10 anticipated
It was.
films.
That's where we did talk about that.
Yeah. So, yes, I am sold on it. I don't want to see any more, although I probably will because I do go to movie theaters on a regular basis. Interesting to me, we have Disclosure Day, a Steven Spielberg film that's coming out. This film, which J.J. Abrams is known to be kind of, he made High Eight, didn't he?
Super
Or
8.
Super 8, sorry.
Which was basically a love letter to Spielberg
Right.
films.
And so this seems to be kind of David Robert Mitchell's love letter to Spielberg. The colors,
Yep.
the time period, the clothing, like everything, and like a family-based
Well, the family
thing.
sitting on the floor and the dialogue they're having. It's just like, yes.
It's very, and
This
the,
is-
just the cut. It, So unfortunately, we've discussed Disclosure Day as well. I still want to see it. I always want to see his new Spielberg. However, that one, I'm like, I'm a little concerned.
I am too.
But this one, it's like, yes, this is a Spielberg movie.
This is the Spielberg movie I want to see.
Right, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. I still see both. I still really want to see both. But maybe because this is only a teaser, you don't really have a chance to mishandle anything.
True.
So,
Yeah.
And the roar and stomping at the end, I'm like, nope, just enough.
Yeah.
Don't, let's go. So it is really curious to me. I forget what the name of the follow-up to It Follows was going to be, because supposedly there is one being made. I don't know if it's like Still Following. I can't remember what it was going to be. But known for horror in It Follows, but meta level type horror.
Yeah.
And Under the Silver Lake was just kind of an odd film. Didn't really care for it, but it was interesting. But then to go for this kind of like tonal shift director to like, an homage to Spielberg, I'm like, interesting.
Well, it is fascinating because, I mean, there again.
It's just a trailer or a teaser.
Well, but look
still.
at J.J. Abrams. Like you said, he was making films. He was kind of doing his own thing, but he was always being treated as the next Spielberg, kind of pattern that way. And when it came to him doing Super 8, it was like, yep, I'm doing a Spielberg film. I am doing an Amblin Entertainment classic suburbia sci-fi film. And it's like, now it's just so fascinating to see. It's like, now here's another director who's had some other work under his belt, but now J.J. Abrams is producing the film that looks to be another Spielberg.
I mean,
It's
I
like,
get it.
anyway,
Spielberg made a lot of good films. So I can get it.
And
Why a
people
lot
love
of
it.
people will be a fan of things.
I mean, a lot of the people that are filmmakers today were influenced because of Spielberg.
Absolutely.
Like they got into filmmaking maybe because of Spielberg.
Absolutely.
So it's like, I get it, but it will be a very interesting summer, like you said, because I think Disclosure Day is like in July or something like that, and then this is coming out in August.
Right.
It's like, okay, let's see who does the better Spielberg or somebody trying to be Spielberg.
Right.
So, right. But I also hope this film's got some. I hope this film goes for some creepier elements as well. I mean, again, the guy who did It Follows,
Right.
a very creepy film.
Make
and
it his own.
Very atmospheric film. I hope there's a little bit of that influence in there as well too. So we'll see.
I always like seeing Ewan McGregor on screen.
I did too, and I think him being a part of this has got me excited as well. So
Sure.
Okay, so that is the end of Oak Street. That is coming out August 14th. Is the date I think I mentioned on that. Okay, we're going to shift gears a little bit, Chris. We're going to go a little more of a comedy route with these next ones. First up, we're going to see a teaser trailer. Once again, a teaser, not giving us too much of the film,
Dig it.
for The Hulk. And The Hulk is the new Will Ferrell comedy. Will Ferrell, I think over the decades we've seen him, he kind of gets to use his comedy chops by exploring a sport or genre of some sort. I mean, we've seen him do basketball. We've seen him do NASCAR. We've seen him do even the Eurovision, not really a sport, but kind of an interesting competition thing. That's where he lives most of the time when he's got comedies that are his name is like the one on the marquee for it. The Hulk is no different. The Hulk is a golf comedy.
Okay.
So let's take a look at this teaser trailer for The Hulk.
This summer, a legend returns. An icon, a champion, an American hero. His name, Lonnie the Hawk Hawkins.
That's me. I'm him. That's who they're talking about.
All right, so Chris, we got to deal with this right here live on the
This is what
show.
happens when we don't know a lot about what we're about to do. Yeah.
So it turns out The Hulk is actually a TV show, not a movie.
So
Therefore, completely
immediately,
invalid from Foot Candle Films.
but I will say, I will probably still at least watch the first
Oh, sure.
episode.
Yeah.
But I am disappointed because I love Will Ferrell. I think the trailer is funny. However, concept is good enough to maybe make a tidy 85-minute movie, and you have enough of the jokes that I feel like, although I've never seen these movies, have been done by Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
True.
I've never seen that. I didn't see the sequel that came straight to Netflix. But making a series, I kind of am like, I don't know that and it's kind of doing the whole Eastbound and Down thing, which I haven't really seen that either. But it's like a washed up baseball player. This is like golf person. I concerned that it's going to be strung out over a series. So I wish it was a film, but that's what we get to when we don't watch the trailer sometimes.
That's true.
We don't know all the info.
And the thing is, I saw this trailer, but I guess it just didn't resonate with me. I didn't realize I forgot it was a series. But okay.
Well,
wipe it from our brain because, again, we are a pure podcast about movies here.
And we open the show talking about basketball, but that's okay.
Yeah,
Forget that.
We've gotten a little off track on this
Sure,
episode.
it's okay.
All right, so ignore the Hulk. No, don't ignore it. You can hopefully watch it. Hopefully it's funny on Netflix. But for the purpose of this podcast, that little teaser trailer we just played did not exist.
Sure.
Wipe it from your brain. Now we're going to go to our next one. This one is a movie.
Okay.
We can pretty much be guaranteed on this, right, Chris? I have not seen the trailer.
Well, see, I haven't either. So,
no.
So I can't guarantee you, but
Okay.
I think it's in.
No, I see it. It has got a runtime. It is a movie. It's got a MPAA rating.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
But I could have sworn in the brief thing, that I saw the Hawk was a film too, but clearly it's not.
That's
so,
right.
Oh well.
We make mistakes sometimes. That's fine. Let's instead talk about a movie called Outcome.
Okay.
This is also a comedy, or at least branded as a comedy.
Okay.
It is starring several big people.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, the lead character in this film, his name is Reef Hulk. So that was why the Hulk playing as the second trailer was interesting. Anyway.
Reef Hulk.
Reef Hulk.
Okay.
Played by a Mr. Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
Keanu Reeves, Jonah Hill, and Cameron Diaz in a Jonah Hill directed film.
Okay.
All right. So here's the description. Reef Hulk, Hollywood's poster child since age 6, is not okay. When he learns about an extortion plot tied to a mysterious video, Reef preemptively sets out on redemption tour to make amends, confront his demons, and avoid getting canceled. Okay, so that is the setup. Again, Jonah Hill directing. It says that he is also in this film, but let's take a look at the trailer and we will see what we've got. Here we go. The trailer for Outcome.
Reef Hawk. For the last 4 decades, America's favorite movie star. Starring in 3 of the biggest franchises in film history. You've had 5 years off. I mean, how are you going to frame the 5 years thing?
I won't say that I was hiding a heroin addiction from the public, and that my best friends and my insane lawyer helped me cover it up for years.
That is a really smart omission.
Strong omission.
Mm-hmm.
The day I walk down the street I used to wander, yeah.
Bubby and Tyra, we got a big problem.
There's a video. What's on it?
I have no idea. I need to know everyone who hates you. You need to go and apologize to them. And without them realizing it, feel out if they're the ones behind the video.
Who hates me?
Your old manager, your old trainer, your new trainer, your old pool guy, your old pool guys, your mom.
So that was the trailer for Outcome. Keanu Reeves, Jonah Hill, Cameron Diaz, Matt Bomer,
Roy Wood Jr.
Several others. I saw a lot of other cameos. Susan Lucci.
Yeah.
Susan Lucci. Dropping some F-bombs in there too.
Yes.
So that's fun. That's always good. So Chris, what's your thoughts on the trailer for Outcome?
That is a film, thankfully not a series.
Yes.
No, it looks good. We'll have to, our editor Moose will have to edit this. We saw a kind of a teaser, and then we actually watched the full trailer. Hopefully, even though it may have revealed too much,
it was a full trailer, unfortunately, but yes, yeah.
But I'm excited about it. It looks good. It looks funny. Looks like it has a heart, but yet is not going to overly, beat you over the head.
Hopefully.
So, but no, it looks good. I'm curious to see Jonah Hill.
Mm-hmm.
He directed mid-90s. Was that mid-90s?
Mid-90s.
Okay, which I don't think I ever saw.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
That's the only movie he's directed. Well, no, he did a film called Stutz.
I didn't see that either.
In 2022.
Okay.
I think it was a documentary.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was a documentary about Phil Stutz, who is a mental health professional.
Oh
Remember,
Okay, I
he
do
did.
remember
So he
hearing
directed that,
about that.
he directed that documentary. But
Okay.
so basically, he did mid '90s in 2018 and did Stutz as a documentary.
Okay.
A couple years ago, and now
Sure.
we got Outcome. Yep.
Yeah, I'm curious. I think it looks entertaining. I am looking forward to it.
No, I'm very, very much looking forward to it.
And I saw you. I pointed to the screen. Kind of did the Leonardo DiCaprio from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood meme. I saw that John Byron was.
John Byron
responsible for
did
the
music.
and I was like, yeah, that tracks because this trailer seems like it's just very well put together.
Well,
So
and I mean,
music.
look, when big movie stars get to play movie stars going through some
Think about
self-realizations.
Jay Kelly, George Clooney.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a little bit of that. And here we have Keanu Reeves kind of getting to play a bit. And it's not really a meta role because I don't think Keanu Reeves, I can't think of any controversy Keanu Reeves have ever gone through as an actor personally. I mean,
Right.
I don't really follow that stuff,
Sure.
but I don't know of anything offhand. But to still be able to see him play a character who is a larger than life actor and all that, but dealing with some very personal situations.
Right.
That's always interesting to me to see how well that can be pulled off. And I think it was the right choice of actor to put in that position, which is great. So no, I'm excited.
Yeah.
This is my kind of movie. So I'm very excited to see if it pans out or not. The good thing is it's going to be on Netflix April 10th.
Okay.
So I mean, it comes out in like a week and a half. So we don't have very long to wait for it, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, that is good.
All right. Well, that was the trailers we had to share today. Unfortunately, it was really only 2 trailers. We goofed on one.
Will Ferrell pulled the wool over our eyes. Thought it was a film. It's a series.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Oh well. So that was our trailers. So now, Chris, we're going to get to the end of our episode, and this is where we turn it over to you to wrap it up for us and give us a recommendation of a film that you think is worth checking out, something you've caught up with or revisited or got to see for the first time or whatever it is. Chris, regale us with your recommendation this week.
So the film I'm going to recommend is available for rent or purchase online. I am bitter that I did not get to see this film in a theater. And unfortunately, I'm recommending it to you. I really think more people should see it. But you'll probably have to rent it just like me or buy it because it's gone from theaters now. It is called Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, directed by Matt Johnson. He of Blackberry fame. I'll just read a quick little synopsis here. When their plan to book a show at the Rivoli goes horribly wrong, Matt and Jay accidentally travel back to the year 2008. So you see a little bit of symmetry here with our main review. Had some time travel. This does as well. It's great. I don't really want to say any more about it, but it's great because I think the less you know about the film, probably the better.
No, that's
we
good.
actually discussed the trailer.
Yeah, we did.
We saw the
Which
trailer.
unfortunately I thought gave away even too much in the trailer. So
Rest assured you're good.
Okay. All right. Okay, good.
I think you're good. And hopefully you've maybe forgotten some of the trailer.
Yeah.
But no, I enjoyed this film. I encourage more people to see it. I am, like I said, I like to see all movies in a theater just because it's the great theater going experience. And I'm bitter that I had to watch this one. I blame you, Neon. I think you should have pushed it more. But, whatever. I still like you as a studio. But Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, rentable at all your, typical places.
All right. So it is in rental positions, the status now.
Yeah.
We can check it out. Yes, that is one. I'm with you. I wish I had seen it or wish I'd gotten to see it in a theater. Did not. And now I'm super excited to be able to see it. And I needed someone close to me to tell me that yes, it is warranted and it is worth the viewing, and that's what I'm excited about.
The thing, and I say theater just because every movie is better in a theater, but getting to see this with an audience would have been just amazing.
Really.
And it was just me watching it, so at home, but yeah, an audience would have been really nice. But it's okay.
All right, well, cool. Nirvana, the band, say it again.
No, you're right.
The band, the show, the movie.
You got it.
Okay,
you got it.
I
Which
will
is a
still do.
ridiculous title, but
No, but
there
I
you
love
go.
it. That's great. It's Nirvana with 2 N's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, cool. Well, that is Chris's recommendation, and yes, it is on my list probably near the top of the list now. So we'll be checking it out before
Awesome.
too long. And with that, I think we are wrapped up for today. We had our review of Mike and Nick and Alice. We had our trailers for the end of Oak Street. And I'm not going to mention The Hawk. And then the trailer for Outcome.
Sure.
Both films, well, The Outcome coming out just in a couple of weeks. The end of Oak Street is going to be in late summer. And then, and then Chris's recommendation of Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, available now for rental. All right, Chris, if anybody would like to chime in and spar with us on anything we talked about, or just give any general comments of anything at all, how can they do so?
You can send an email to info@footcandle.org. You can leave us a voicemail via the contact page on the mesh.tv website. That's also where you can see past episodes that we have available. Follow us on Facebook at Foot Candle Film Society, Instagram Threads, Blue Sky at Foot Candle Film. Al and I are also on Letterboxd, where we try to track what we're seeing and leave quick takes. Do us a favor, if you like the show, consider giving us a star rating, write a review, or share with friends or whatever service you receive your favorite podcast on, because it could help us reach new listeners, and we'd appreciate that.
All right. And with that, we will say goodbye for now, and we will look forward to talking to you next time we record Foot Candle Films. Take care.
See you in the ticket line.
Watch films in the company of like-minded people in the dark. Watch films in the underground. We won't let anyone know where you are. The films that don't make it to Carmike at the mall, or ones that were famous when Grandpa would watch films out of the reverence of the heritage of an art. Watch films through the courtesy of Foot Candle Film Society.
Special thanks to Carpal Tuller for the show theme music. For more about Carpal Tuller, visit www.carpaltuller.com. You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.